welcome you back to the hashtag Brothers of Baseball show right here on the Big Game Christian Sports Network. Willie Epting Jr. to the dopest engineer in the game, Big Day. What's going on, baseball fans all over the planet? What is happening? In case you missed it in the first segment, started talking about the hot stove and all of the things that are going on with the top free agents here in Major League Baseball. And as promised, you might be able to see her lovely face on the screen. Oh, by the way, thank you guys out there on Facebook Live as well as Periscope and YouTube for checking us out. Before we go any further, and I bring on who you see that's smiling so beautiful, don't you agree? Before I bring her in, this second segment is being brought to you by Fork Talk Eatery. Can't remember what a home-cooked meal tastes like? Want a meal just like mama's? Well, Fork Talk Eatery will have your mouth smacking and your fork talking and your fork talking and your mouth smacking. Find out more about calling 469-358-5241 or go to their Facebook page or Instagram page and place your orders today. It is, of course, Fork Talk Eatery is, of course, hashtag Fork and Delicious. All right. So, as you can see, this is now it's not the hashtag Brothers of Baseball. This is the hashtag Better Half segment because I have my better half on here with me, and we're going to be discussing some things of life. Patrice Epting, the love of my life, my partner, my better half, my everything. What is going on, baby?
Hello, what's going on? I'm glad to be here.
Well, I am certainly glad that you decided to get strong-armed and and come on the show with me, and I appreciate it. Now, I'm looking at something here, and you said that you were going to do something. I got a glass. Do you want to do that now or you want to do that later?
Later.
You want to do it later? Okay. All right. So we're wrapping up 2020 in a nutshell, and the effects that it has had on the world, not just our nation or our family. And it started back in January the 26th. The first blow to the year, of course, was when Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi and 10 other friends in a helicopter, they crashed into a mountain. And I remember, babe, thinking, what in the world happened? And I remember we did a small episode, you, me, and the kids, talking about that. And then here we are, you fast forwarded to the end of the year, and we've just seen things that we have never seen before in our lifetime. So you being an educator and with the educational system being turned upside down the way that it has, give your thoughts.
Well, who knew in 2020, January, we were also excited for double-digit 2020. And who knew that the year will begin like that? Like you said, it started with Kobe Bryant and his daughter perishing in the plane crash. And America and people all over the world were saddened because of that. And it really made you think about, how life is short. Someone like him, and he was so young, and his daughter was so young. And that was very impactful. But just a few weeks later, here comes the next blow for 2020, which was COVID. And I remember we were celebrating spring break at the beginning of March. And there was some word around that something was happening, but no one really knew what. Or let's just say some government officials were not letting us know what was happening. And we just feel like we were, taken by surprise by this thing called COVID, which is still here subsequently.
Yeah. And that governmental official that you're talking about, I'm going to just call him out because that's the problem. There's not enough accountability. And that is our esteemed quarterback, our esteemed president. I almost said George Trump. That would be Mr. Donald J. Trump. And, we can just go in it from there because, at the end of the year, of course, we have had the election that he is still challenging the results of. And inauguration is basically in 3.5 weeks or so. And here we are looking forward to January the 6th, where there's rumors out there about a governmental coup. Now, we just don't have enough time to really get into all of that. Maybe we have to do that in a separate podcast, babe. But I wanted you to go to the next blow And that was the George Floyd murder that was filmed on tape in Minneapolis in May.
Wow. Yeah, that was horrific. And let's just say when everyone saw that, everyone was impacted. Everyone was changed. America was changed. All of our lives were changed. There's not one person who, you think about this, and this is something you see. You see a man dying, on air. You're watching his demise. And not only that, you hear him cry out for his mother. Now, I don't know how other people felt, but when I heard that, that touched me. That was something. Everybody has a mom. Every person can feel, the hurt of their child. So that is what I believe made lots of people go out in the streets and go out and protest and go through. The other blow of 2020 was Black Lives Matter, BLM. And so, I wanted to go out there and be a part, and it was just a crazy time for everyone. And in the middle of COVID, people were still getting sick, but we could not stay in our homes. We could not, sit down on the couch. We were watching CNN 24/7, and we couldn't sit there after this happened. I mean, Ahmaud Arbery happened, Breonna Taylor happened, and then watching George Floyd, die in front of us. That was horrific. We had lots of things in 2020, but that I think sticks out the most to me, because if you were human and you saw that, your life changed that day too.
Yeah, and I like to think that people's lives did change, but did their lives change? Are we looking for changed lives? Or are we looking for changed hearts? Now, we talked about this on Kick the Narrative with Big Day and Charles Boyd and so many others, the Hickses, Natalie and Corey. And we were talking about that very same thing. For this to change, we have to have the hearts of men to change. And babe, you know me, I have been called to unity, to do my part, rather, to be a voice of unity. And you know that it has affected me in a way, because I can't stand for people to be divided over things that they really don't know about, And when you say Black Lives, or when we say Black Lives Matter, the opposition, the first thing that comes to their mind is, oh, well, they're a terrorist group. Well, no, they're not. Okay, let me put it this way. The entity or the letters that you see, BLM, may be a terrorist group, but that ain't what this is about. I remember 6 years ago when my homeboy, Mayor Gerald Brown of Richwood, Louisiana, tagged me in a post, and he actually hashtagged it Black Lives Matter. There was no BLM then. So basically what I've been saying is, you guys out there that are screaming that BLM is a terrorist group, you do realize that Black Lives mattered before Black Lives Matter. And I had somebody hit me up on KNOE Channel 8's Facebook page out of Monroe, Louisiana, saying, well, white lives matter too. That's not what we're saying. We've never said that. We've never said that white lives didn't matter. So, lives change, yeah, but the hearts of people change. So, all right, so we go from there. And
well, I think so. I think lots of hearts did change. I think, if not anything else, people who may have once thought that, all lives matter, sure. But I think they got a different perspective. And I think we can't ignore the fact that many people, not by their own choices, or could be by their choices, were impacted in a way that changed their mind. Lots of people who didn't understand the plight of Black lives are now with Black lives, and they understand the plight. So I don't want to push against that or push away from that I do believe hearts change. I think minds have changed. We still have a long way to go. We have many people who refuse to see it in certain ways because it has been a generational curse for generations. And but many people that I know of, I could hear the tone in which they speak, even the hesitation of what they may have said before they think about those things. and they approach it in a different way. You know, I work in a school district, and I work with lots of people, but I do see changes in many people, and I think that has impacted everyone. Not only that impact, but the loss of so many lives during COVID. And I also want to, the next thing for review of 2020, I think it's important to also talk about mental health. During the summer months when I was at home and we were all in front of the TV and all of this was going on, people were hurting. People didn't know what to do. Some people were angry. Some people got quiet. Some people, reverted to things that probably were not healthy. I'm just saying, I was drinking a little bit more than I should have, but it was a coping mechanism. But we can't ignore that every person was impacted. They were impacted some type of way. And that also challenges Black lives, mental health. And that's a thing for Black families. When I was growing up and when you were growing up, people didn't talk about mental health. It was just something you just had to get over. I assume I may have had some anxieties when I was young, but my parents didn't allow me to really, fall into that. So I had to jump out of it. Some people could, some people couldn't. Some people reverted to, other things. But it's important to make sure we're all okay and that it's okay not to be okay. And to make sure our brothers and sisters are mental health is important to make sure that they're okay in their everyday lives. Check on a brother, check on a sister.
Yeah. And babe, I appreciate you saying that because a lot of those statements, I think you were talking about me, and I'm just gonna be very, very transparent.
You're not the only one.
Right. But I'm talking about as far as in this house. I'm gonna be very, very transparent because when you talked about mental health, and we got about 5 minutes left to go in the segment. When you talked about the mental health issue of it, this is the reason, or one of the main reasons, why the Shake Back Sports Show was created, that you can hear on the 12s and 6s on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, with me and Corey Ellison. That is one of the reasons why it was created, because we are look, as sports fans and as media, the one thing other than Jesus Christ that binds us together was ripped away from us for a long time, and that's sports. Sports is the band-aid that helps bandage or actually bridges our differences, because when we're rooting for our teams or whatnot, none of that matters. But I had an episode, babe, and I'm gonna say this. Okay. Had an episode in the summer, in July, where I was downtrodden and beaten down and felt worthless and like, my family didn't care. Not to say that they didn't. I know they did, but this is me individually being candid. And like you said, babe, you may have sipped a little bit more cups of alcohol than we normally would. And here I am. I'm out, and next thing you know, I'm in a wreck. And a lot of people don't know about this. I mean, there's family members that don't know about this. I'm in a wreck, and I will show you. You can see this scar on my face. If you can see that out there live, that was a result of me not handling my business during a situation that we've never seen before. And yes, I had been drinking. Luckily or fortunately and blessedly, I did not hit anybody. I did not hit any of the cars. The only thing I did is I was trying to get up off the ground. This is my recollection because I don't really remember what happened. But I think I scraped my face up on the ground trying to pull myself up off the concrete. And a lot of people don't survive things like that. A lot of people don't get to tell stories like this. And it has impacted us in different ways. And babe, I'm gonna have you come back on in the third segment because this is important. And I think I told Big Day earlier on Thursday that this is something I believe that needs to be said that's gonna help people. So we're gonna shake back and still talk a little baseball. But before we do that, babe, I wanted to ask you because we're travelers. We like to travel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't been able to go anywhere.
Too scared.
Say that.
Too scared. I mean, you have to wear a mask. Some people do. Some people don't. Some people take it seriously. And then you have others that don't believe, and have been influenced by influential people. And then they don't. I mean, I wear a mask. You wear a mask. lots of people wear masks for the safety of other people. And we have to think about others. That's the whole thing. Why we're here. What is your purpose? And in your purpose, other people should be a part of your purpose, because that's why we're here. We're here to help and bridge the gaps and love each other and take care of each other and just be the best person you could be. And, and I think that's important. Wear your mask.
Indeed. And,
watch baseball.
Well, no, because this is life or death. Literally, this is life or death. And you've seen the videos out there of people getting into it with other people because they're not wearing a mask because it infringes against my rights. And then I started thinking, well, what about all the rights that minorities have had their rights infringed on for centuries? And you want to complain about a mask that could actually help save people's lives, to include your own? I kind of don't want to hear it. So when we talk about masks, I wish people that refuse to wear one, those are the people who I'm talking about, babe, whose hearts have not changed. They have not changed because they're not thinking about anybody else but themselves and their alleged difficulties to breathe through a mask. It just doesn't make any sense. So whenever we talk about that part of it, the vaccine is here. But I saw on the news on Wednesday that they had wanted 100 million vaccines distributed. As we got about 30 seconds left to go in the segment, babe. As we had, they've fallen well short of that. I think they're at like maybe 10 or 20 million. Go ahead.
Well, the question is, vaccine or no vaccine? Do you want to take it? That's the question. That's a valid question that we're all thinking about. Some of us have no question and we think, sign me up for the vaccine. Other of us, there's things that we don't understand about it. And so we don't know.
All right, we're going to put a pin in it right there, ladies and gentlemen. This is the hashtag Brothers of Baseball show with the hashtag Better Half segment with my wife, Patrice Epting. We're discussing 2020. Big day. Dopest engineer in the game, in the game, sports fans, baseball fans all over the planet. Y'all come on back and holler at us.